I gotta hit this.
There you go. Now we're live.
Good morning. Yes. I am pumped up.
Good morning, everybody.
Yes, I am. I barely slept last night. How about you? Did you sleep at all?
Oh, I slept.
Oh, I barely slept. I tossed and turned. I'm like, oh my God.
But I was up early.
Yeah, see, because you couldn't sleep either. You were nervous. Yeah. You're nervous.
No, I'm not nervous. I'm excited though.
I'm not nervous. I'm excited. I talk to him all the time. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. He's excited. I'm excited because I'm actually going to see him this week.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have a blast. Hey, Lori. Hey, Kelly. How are you, Garrett?
Oh shit, I gotta.
How's everybody, Doug?
Good morning, everybody. Please share it out. Hi, Douglas. Welcome in, everybody. Please share it out and let them know that Muck Sticky's gonna be here in a few minutes. He's gonna hang out with us and talk weed, talk his concert that's coming up this weekend and what's going on in the future, and more weed and more talking. It's going to be great. And we're going to listen to a couple of his songs. I'm going to break the rules. Don't tell Live 365, but I'm playing him twice in an hour. Shh, don't do
It's a special
you're damn right. It's special
show, right? You can do things like that from time to time, I would think.
Yeah, I don't even think they care. I think they care, but if they catch you, then they care. But they're not paying attention to me. They're like, this guy's a good boy. He's been doing this for 2 years, no fines. We don't even care about him anymore.
That's good.
So yeah. So I'm gonna break the rules today. I'm gonna take a chance and break the rules. Don't tell.
There we go. You know what I was thinking, right? The that intro, that 30 seconds where the intro comes in, that'd be excellent to have Muck Sticky's pot smoking right in there instead. You know what I mean? For that intro.
I think we can do it. I think we can. I have to just figure it out. I have to have time to like sit and actually work on different platforms while I'm doing stuff. But I'm so busy.
I can figure stuff like that out if he's cool with it.
Oh, he said he's cool. I mean, I would love for him to be able to catch a buck or two for it every time it played. So if we can figure it out so that we steal it from where he gets it, money from it, you know what I mean? But I don't know if that works that way.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. No, like if you go to TikTok, good afternoon, Tina. Hi, Chris. What's going on?
Natasha, Chris, how are you, Tina?
Natasha, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're just waiting on the man, the myth, the legend. Muck Sticky is on his way. Woo, woo. He's coming to hang out. We're gonna get high.
Pot smoking is it.
Pot smoking. I love that.
He's got some great stuff, man. Like I listened to a lot of it last night and a lot that I'd never heard before. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like
I don't even get to play. I wish, because they don't let me play but one an hour, you know, and then I usually try to play a 421 because he's got such great 420 songs, you know. But I wish
he's got a lot of great music.
What I want to do. Oh, he's getting ready. He's in the green room. He's getting ready. All right. Did everybody get him his M&Ms? He wanted no green M&Ms.
Who used to have that in their rider? Wasn't it Van Halen?
One of them, yeah. Van Halen, maybe it was. No green M&Ms. They didn't want to be horny.
I think it was the brown ones.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
It was David Lee Roth. You know, he had those pants on for a reason. So he wanted to be horny. He wanted all green.
He actually went on to become a paramedic, in New York City.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something like that.
Quite bizarre.
Please, if you guys have the ability to share it out, please like, subscribe, share. We got another subscriber last night. We are up to 104. Woo-hoo! This is amazing. We're growing every day. It's getting bigger and bigger. Woo-hoo! 104 people.
Yeah, you know, when I'm listening to him, you know who comes to mind for me is Frank Zappa. You know what I mean? Like he's got the musicality of Frank Zappa.
Yes.
Just so different and You know what I mean? Just very, very cool. I love it.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And it's just fun. I catch myself. I'm a big guy, man. I don't dance, but I'm chair dancing to like every one of his freaking songs.
Yeah, got some good
You know
tunes.
what? We got time. Let's get one in. Why don't we play one for him right now? Like I'm gonna play one that I absolutely love. And I don't know if you've heard it, but I think I played it yesterday. This is a great one. I love this one. Stellar Connection by Muck Sticky. Like no matter what, you just want to dance. You're gonna see the big guy dancing at this damn show. He hasn't danced in 30 years.
Right now, I'm not the same as I was just then. When just then and in a little bit, I'll be a little bit different. I feel more like I do right now than I did when I walked up in this motherfucker. Got everybody in here clucking like chickens. You're wondering what I'm thinking about, but I'm only thinking about what I'm gonna do next. Cash checks, have sex, rock shows, wear loud clothes, get my jam on, do the ham bone. If you're bitching about me, go ahead, insert another tampon. You can vamp on out, peace out. You can fry my fridge, but you won't get the grease out. Can't figure me out too bad. Don't be frustrated, cause no one ever has. I'm a never-ending story. Holy moly, I know what I'm here for. I'm a star, you're curled up in the corner like a roly-poly, like Axel Foley. I'm a cop of Bill in Beverly Hills. Seal the deals and eat all my meals for free. And then vaporize, baby, what you know about me. Cause I'm a constantly changing apparition. Only the moment really knows my name.
Cheers to everybody.
Walker with a stellar connection to the future on this planet. I will stake my claim. And I'll never be the same as you. I'm banging and bumping, your heartbeat's thumping so quick, complaining, let the music play. It's my jam. Oh, hot damn, I can rock this motherfucker like no one can. So turn up the monitors, I'm showing you mine. You can show me yours, and I'll say fuck it like buckets of sweat dripping out your pores. I'm dropping these fours, you're mopping them floors. I'm crisp like classic, oh so classic like campfire s'mores. Call me Doors, cause I light your fire. And I'm telling you, baby, you can't get much higher than the lizard king. It's me today, cause I won't be.
Not a very good paying job, Garrett. I lose money.
Your friend, but you're lost.
Here he comes. He's coming.
How you doing, Jacob?
Never hesitate. You consider
thanks, Kelly.
an opportunity is looking at you. What will you do? Will you go for the gusto? Like a volcano, I'm on the rise. And when you see me tiptoe through the cosmos, baby, don't be surprised, cause I'm a constantly changing apparition.
All right, when you can hear me, he can.
I'm a space walker with a stellar connection to the future on this planet. I will stake my claim.
There he is.
And I'll never be the same. Cause I'm a constantly changing apparition. Only the moment really knows my name. I'm a space walker with a stellar connection to the future on this planet. I will stake my claim.
It says a day without weed probably wouldn't kill me. But why take the chance? So that's what this one says.
WTHC. Oh my God, he's there. I can see him. He's down there. He's all getting ready. He looks great. I'm gonna bring him up. Are you guys ready? Let's do it. Here he comes, the one and only Muck Sticky. Everybody, give me a round of applause. I don't have a clapper. I'm sorry. What's up, bro?
Hey, man.
I can't hear you. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not a good sign.
Oh, the rest of the shirt just says, "A day without weed probably wouldn't kill me, but why take that chance?"
Let me see. Maybe I have something I can do here.
Just a microphone thing. Can you hear us? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a microphone.
Now it's okay. It's unmuted on this end.
Yeah, I just muted it and unmuted it just to see if that helped. But well, just dance and look pretty, sir. There you go. Everybody, he's here. I swear, out there on the radio, he's here. We're looking at him. Why
it'll be the inverse of when Dr.
Hey, is that there he goes? Okay.
There we go.
There you go. There he is. Everybody.
There we go.
Right.
You had me sweating.
How you doing today?
Man, getting ready for this big show this weekend.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I wish I wasn't stuck in Canada. I'd be down there to check it out.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty wild. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got a lot of good stuff planned.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. I am so excited. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We have a million questions. I hope you have some time. Dr. High has been doing some research on you. He's got a lot
of really research, but
we're getting to know you. Like I've
been like Nardwar and Nardwar and tell me some interesting factoid that nobody should know.
No,
he might. He's like that though. So go ahead, Dr. High.
Something even I don't know about me.
There you go.
No, I just took some time last night, because it would be I don't know why, but I'd never really heard too much of anything you'd done until I started, doing this with Da.Hippie. And so it was interesting. And then somebody I was talking to up here who's been in the cannabis industry for a long time said, "Oh yeah, I was hearing his music 10, 12 years ago." And I was like, "Wow, really?" So I just started checking things out last night, and man, it's pretty incredible. You've had a long career doing this. You've written a lot of great music. Like I was telling Hippie earlier, you kind of like you have the musicality of like Frank Zappa, And yeah, I mean it's beautiful.
That's quite a compliment.
Oh man, I'll tell you.
I don't consider myself anywhere near as talented as he was, but that's a compliment. Many people have said over the years that I somewhat remind them of him. So I'm a big Zappa fan, and so it means a lot to me when somebody says that.
Cool. Like
Yeah, I appreciate that though.
You've been doing this for a long time, eh?
I've been at it a couple minutes, man. I started like goofing off on like a karaoke machine, like back in like the late 90s, like 99, somewhere around there. Just making, we would take old rap songs, they had cassettes back in the day.
Absolutely.
Cassette singles. And the cassette singles often had like instrumental versions of the song. Okay. And so we would take the instrumental version and put it on our little tape deck karaoke machine and write our own funny raps to it and then rap over the instrumental. That's kind of how we got started. And then wow. I saved up some money and bought a 4-track recorder because I heard my favorite artist, Beck. That's how he got started.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Beck. Yeah.
Recording his own shit on a 4-track. And so I just started recording my own songs in my own ways. And one thing led to another. And here we are.
That's the beauty of passion, right? You find a way to achieve what you want to achieve. That's what the passion's all about.
We'll find a way. If it's something you really want to do bad enough, you'll find a way to do it. A lot of people say, I want to do this and I want to do that, but they don't really want to do it. In their head, they want to, but they don't really want to do it enough. Otherwise, they would just find a way to do it.
Yeah. It takes a lot more than dreams, right? You can have your dreams. You got to start there, but you got to put in the effort too. You got to
take action. You
absolutely
100% believer in the force of the universe, whatever you want to call it, that guides us and helps us along the way. There is some sort of magical, mysterious force out there. I don't know and there's not a name for it, but we also have to actively participate along with it. It's not going to just do everything for us. A lot of people think, oh, just wait, until God shows up and sprinkles some magic fairy dust on my life and makes everything awesome. And you have to like work along. It's like it's like a team effort, like you're both digging a hole. And if you just stand there and, watch the other one dig the hole, then, it's going to take a lot longer. Whereas if you work together, then, you'll make shit happen. So.
Yeah, it's like the universe recognizes your energy, right? So if your energy is propelling you towards a positive, uplifting, good direction, it can help accelerate that path. But it can also work against you if you're on a negative trajectory too, So it's got a lot to do with the energy that you put out, I think. Anyway, that's pretty cool.
Very, very true. No, you're absolutely right. I agree with that 100%. I believe we all have the choice, really, day to day, on what we think about, what we speak about, what we put our focus and attention on, and what we fill our life with, because what we fill our life with is what our life becomes,
Yeah, this is the stuff that I listen to Muck in the back when we're hanging out getting hot. This is the stuff that I really need to learn, because I want that and I feel that and I love like that, but for whatever reason I push away, and I need to stop doing that. That's why I'm breaking out. I'm going this week and we're gonna party. Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
It'll be wild.
It's gonna be awesome.
We're gonna have fun this weekend. It's not easy to reframe how you treat life, because we're all programmed to a certain degree. I mean, it's like if you want to learn how to become, a plumber, there are schools or any sort of trade or anything, doesn't matter what it is, anything you want to learn how to do, you like daily take a class, or you go do it, and the more you do something, the more it becomes the more you know how to do it, right? And so as we grow, especially when we're young, the more something or things are in our wheelhouse, in our world, the more it becomes who we are, and then when we, I believe, reach the age of reasoning and logic and critical thinking, you have to say, okay, well, I'm that way because of those things, because this other person that I can see now, that person in my life when I was younger influenced me. It influenced me to be this way. And so I have to like go inside and like recognize that, and then change that mindset, whatever it is, to believe. Like a lot of people, especially in Western culture and modern age, grow up with negative influence on them. People telling them, you ain't gonna be shit. Don't be so full of yourself. Don't enjoy. You ain't gonna amount to nothing. Look at what Look at who you've always been. You ain't ever gonna be shit. That's a common thing in our world, and true. If you look at how you've always been, and you just be like, all right, well, I'm always going to be that way, then yeah, that's the way it's going to be for you. But you can look at how you've always been and go, you know what, I'm going to change that about myself. And because, I mean, if that was the case, we'd all be like still speaking like babies and shitting in our fucking diapers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there'd be no evolution.
There's no involvement. So
I hate to interrupt you, but I'm breaking the rules. It's 420.
420.
Welcome in, everybody over there. So nice to see you.
and him, and him and her too. So y'all get dizzy. I'm about to get into this hot chick's kitty, and I'll pull you on down till the sun comes up. Are you keeping it crispy? Hell yeah! Click it, jam it like a plum and keep you coming back for more. Holy moly, roly poly, to the loom at the floor like a bubble funky nugget. Every day I wear pajamas. It's sure nice to meet you. Call me Mr. Fancy Pants, just a regular brother singing songs for fun, trying to have a good time without hurting anyone. And I'm singing this song, oh yes I am, and I'm doing it just because I can. Well, I go where I want to because I can, and I do what I want to do because I can. And I'm singing this song because I can, singing all night long because I can.
Oh yeah, these always get me killing. But I love coughing.
She called you Lori.
People call me Sticky.
No, she says it when I cough. It sounds
There's too many chicks trying to get in my pants. Got a divvy out the table, dang dong, sing a song. You want me to do what? No thanks. Yes, I cuss. Yes, I smoke, but I won't wash my mouth with soap. Cause I came here to spread a message of hope. You can do these things and still be a good person. It's all about choice and becoming enlightened. Choose to follow your purpose, and soon your day will come. Well, go where I want to because I can.
That's right, Gary.
Because I can, and I'm singing this song. Because I can, singing all night long. Because I can. We go where we want to and do what we want to do. And what we want to do is just sing these silly songs for you. Said we go where we want to and do what we want to do. And what we want to do is just sing these silly because I can, and I do what I want to do. Because I can, and I'm singing that song. Because I can, singing all night long. Because I can. Yeah. Doing that shit because I can, motherfucker.
WTHC, that's
Hell
right.
yeah,
Happy
baby.
420 to everybody. Muck Sticky's hanging with us. Thank you so much again, Muck, for coming and hanging with us. We really
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Pleasure. My
man.
pleasure.
Thank you here. What were you just dabbing?
Some fresh press. It was either tropical temptress or queso pero. I'm not sure.
Oh,
There's
nice.
two of
Some
them.
rosin.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice fresh press live rosin.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
delicious.
Nice flavor. All
He's
the
in
cannabinoids and terpenes present. It's a
He's
beautiful
all-
thing.
Queso
Got a
pear.
It's real
serious
smooth.
punch going on.
Real smooth. It's like the smoothest thing to dab for me. Like
Yeah.
out of everything you dab, that's the smoothest.
Yeah, I've made thousands and thousands of grams of concentrates, everything from closed loop extraction to rosin to bubble. You know, I've done
Nice.
all of it, but
Hell yes.
that is the smoke, the rosin. That's like the dealer's dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the top tier, man. I already know.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So what brought you into the direction of being really kind of, there's a lot of cannabis focus obviously in your music. Was that just because you were like the rest of us when we were kids, or just getting high and smoking weed and it just became a natural evolution? Or
Absolutely. It's just
shit, eh?
you know, I grew up, you know, in my teenage years, I started smoking weed, and, you know, it just became like part of the culture I was in, you know, and then as I went through college and I started college at a young age. I started college at 12. I went to college for 2 years at 12 and 13, and then back again at 15, and then back again from 18 to 22. And so after I got out of college that last time, and it was all like, my main thing was psychology, and
Right.
That was my major. And so I didn't really start making my own music till like I said, right after college. I was always a big music fan growing up.
Right.
Listened to everything. My family was really involved in music. My dad was a guitar player in a local band. My grandparents were famous gospel singers. My grandfather on my mother's side was a Sun studio musician. He sang with Elvis and Johnny Cash and all those folks.
So you had the genes.
So like music was part of my family, but they didn't really want me to do that. They wanted me to like go be a doctor or a lawyer or a scientist or something like that, you know.
Can
so I was kind of like
for a second?
Sure.
I'm sorry. 12. You had already graduated high school?
Yeah. I took my ACT. I was homeschooled from right out of kindergarten. And so when I did my homeschooling, my mom was my teacher essentially, and she was a teacher as well at private Christian schools growing up.
Right.
So she taught me at home, and I pretty much did 2 grades a year starting in first grade. Like I did first and second the first year, and then third and fourth, and so on and so on.
You didn't have a summer break. You went year round and
no, I had a summer break. In fact, we ordered my curriculum. This was, back before the internet, of course, so we ordered curriculum, and then I had a desk at home in the corner of my dining room. And so every morning I would get up and like, I would have my work assigned for that day. And, I would usually get it done within 2 or 3 hours because it's just me sitting there working and focusing, right? Instead of like going from one class and all this social distraction and all this whatever. I just was able to focus on getting my shit done. And so I would sometimes double, and most of the days I would double up my work and then still be done in time to watch the Three Stooges before my friends got out of school,
Before Andy Griffith.
Yeah, Andy Griffith show, whatever, right? So
no, but that's the beauty of the homeschooling, because you know that if you get your work done, you're done. Then you can go on about the rest of your day, and you can focus your time like that, and it accelerates everything. See,
it's 100% directly related to my having 17 albums that I own myself and having all this with no record label or manager or anything like that. It's because I've always just been like one of those people who I just get the work done. I just know what needs to be done and I get it done. And that was kind of how I got into college at such a young age. My grandfather was also a professor at a community college in Memphis, where I'm from. And so him being a professor there, and me, I took my ACTs, got really high scores. And so I got in and did my R&D stuff for like 2 years and finished that school. And then at 15, I took a little time off. My parents split up when I was 14. And so after those 2 years of college, I didn't really do anything for a year or two. And then I went to college at a private Christian college. And about 6 weeks in, I went to my classes were on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. And I lived about 45 minutes through rush hour traffic away from the school. And so I didn't go on Tuesday and Thursdays. And they had chapel on Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 o'clock in the morning for 2 hours. And so, I didn't have classes on the day, so I just didn't go to chapel. And then about, I don't know, 8 or 10 weeks into the semester, they called me into the office, pulled me out of my classes one day and brought me into the office. And they're like, "Hey, you're granted, so I forget what the number was, but you're only granted 4 chapel misses per semester, and you've already missed 9 or whatever it was. And we fine you $25 for every miss above the 3 you're granted or whatever. So you owe us $175." And I was like, "I owe you $175 for missing chapel? What is that kind of crazy force your religion thing on somebody?" What I'm saying? I thought I lived in America, where I'm supposed to have freedom of religion, And so, anyway, so I quit that day and didn't go back. And
that's pretty incredible, right? Because that's to the detriment of your education. And it's an educational institution that you're attending, yet it's the secular side or the religious side of it that is getting in the way.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
don't get me
something, right?
wrong. I'm a very spiritual individual. I'm very
Right.
connected to God, but
Yeah.
I don't believe anything should be forced on anyone. It
No.
should be something that you
No.
feel naturally and connect to, and especially like setting up a finding system for not doing. It was really weird. That was really weird to me
Yeah.
inherently. And so
Dang, right?
I quit that. And then a couple of years later, after being a teenager for a while and getting into rock and roll music and stuff, and I went back to college for 4 years for my degree in psychology. And
Okay.
then when I got done, I just decided that I didn't really want to sit behind a desk and be
No.
bombarded with people telling me their
Yeah.
problems all day. And like, I thought, you know what, I can take what I've learned. I'm a big party person, and for me, uh, the world that I grew up partying, all those people were bad people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you smoked weed and listened to rock
Yeah.
and roll music and
Yeah.
had tattoos and long hair, you were a bad person.
Yeah.
Just because,
Yeah.
and I thought to myself, well, if anybody needs a message of goodness and hope and positivity, it's those people that are considered to be bad just because whatever. And maybe some of them are. So maybe they need the message even more. And
Right.
so I said, I'm
But
going to take what I've learned through this and my, spiritual self and my psychological self, because we're mind, body, and spirit. We're not
yeah.
just one thing. And so,
Nope.
I took all that and put it into a form of music that people can listen to open-endedly, and hopefully it'll help them in some sort of way. If it helps, it helps. If it don't, it don't.
Yeah.
But regardless, at least I know my purpose and mission is
It's
doing
to
some
put
good in some
smiles
way.
on people's
And I can't tell you how many people I've had come to me over the years and express to me that very thing about how much my music has helped them. And so I know I'm doing my job, whether I smoke weed and have tattoos and cuss and all that shit.
Yeah, but
It's, I know I'm doing goodness in the world,
yeah.
even still, even if those things make me a bad person.
Yeah,
It even
absolutely.
makes the hippie smile.
But it don't make you a bad person.
And
Like I said, and because like I just said in that song you played, you can do these things and still be a good person.
oh,
Right?
absolutely. And like what you've chosen to do is a form of art that can really influence people, because our brains are hardwired for the mathematics of music, right? So
Yeah,
it sticks in your head. And I have some really good friends who are a fairly big band out of Canada called the Tea Party. And we went to school together, and I've been fortunate enough to spend some time with them when they do shows from a different perspective and understand what it is for them to be able to bring that to people, the energy that they put into it, that they give, in order to make people's lives better, to give them just the best night ever. You know what I mean? And it's so cool to have that ability and talent and passion to do that.
I feel very blessed to do so, and you're right that life fucking is tough and it
Yeah.
hurts and it's painful and we're all gonna die and it's horrible. But while we're here, can't we just enjoy it? Like,
Yeah.
can't we just have fun, play some songs, enjoy each other's company and conversation, and smoke a little weed and,
That's
you
it.
know, sip a little sip if we want to? I mean, we're not, it's life sucks. So let's do what we can to make it better. That's my philosophy. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
I think you said it to me the other night. You only die once, right? Didn't you say
Right.
that to
I
me?
mean, I don't know if I've said that or not, but we only die once and you only live once, like
That's right.
I know for sure, just from what I've experienced. I don't know what comes after. I've heard a lot of different things. Can't say for sure because I haven't had it
Nobody
happen to
really
me
knows.
yet. Won't know until it does happen. So
Yep.
I'm not trying to figure that out anymore. I do know from what I've observed that the beings, every one of us, we're all our own unique individual being.
Yep.
those beings are only here one time, you know?
Yep.
Like, I've seen enough people come and go to go, all right, you know, we all come and go, you
Yep.
know? So if I'm going to come and go, then
in the more biblical sense, right?
I've done that a few times in hotel rooms. Cha-ching,
He loved you, ladies. He loved you.
But if that's the case, then why not wake up every day and just be like, man, I get to be here again. I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to like focus on the shit that I love. I'm going to do things that I love. I'm going to speak to people like I love life and like I love them and like I love myself. And sure, there's going to be shitty people I come across. There's going to be all kinds of negative shit out there. I can't help that, but I don't have to be one too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, exactly.
I've got a line in my new song that's coming out this Friday called Get Down about that very thing. Life can suck and people can too, but that ain't got to be you. You know what I mean? It's the truth. And if you realize that and you recondition yourself, because it's easy for us to get conditioned by the world. There's enough of it on these things coming streaming to us all the time. All this negative shit. Just the world sucks. This politician's a piece of shit. There's disaster here, and that person died, and violence there, and all that stuff. There's enough shit out there to make us feel horrible. So we also almost kind of actively have to
seek out
do our own job to find the positivity and the good and the love. And I feel like the more you focus on whatever it is, if you focus on the negative or you focus on the positive, the more of that you focus on, the more that's what your world becomes. And so I can choose to, know that the bad stuff's out there, but I ain't got to focus on it all the time. I can realize that I got loving people in my world. I got friends and fans around the world. I got good music and all kinds of cool movies and shit to watch and things to do and stuff to enjoy in life. There's a fucking Andy Griffith show. I mean, how can you hate the world when Andy Griffith show exists?
That was a great show. We grew up on that. What generation of music was your biggest influence, like your teen years? Was it the 90s, the 80s?
Probably the 70s. I was like, the Doors were when I really the first band I remember being like a mega fan of was the Doors. Before that, I remember getting in trouble listening to Prince. I love Tom Petty. My dad played a lot of Tom Petty in his band.
Yeah, Tom Petty's excellent.
But I got really into the Doors. And then I got into like darker music. I got really into like 9 Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson and that kind of stuff for a little while. But then I realized that was one of those focus on the negative and your life becomes negative kind of things.
Yeah, it's like angry music, right?
Yeah, angry music for sure. Yeah. And, things that teenagers go through or whatever, it's understandable, but once I realized, and learned what I learned about psychology, it's like, all right, if I want my life to be decent, which being here, I like when things are decent and nice and happy better than I do when they're horrible and negative and shitty. I like the good stuff better. So I'm going to start, listening. So I got more into I really got into hip hop, but a lot of it was the funny stuff, the dirty stuff,
right.
Dirty stuff always made me laugh.
The early stuff.
I was really big into comedians as a teenager and young adult as well. Like my favorite show when I think I was like 12 was Comedy Central had before it was Comedy Central, it was called the Comedy Channel.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And they had a show called Stand Up, and it was like a 30-minute long show of it could have been anywhere from 15-second clips to 2-minute long clips of various comedians, just like in a big mashup, and you know, you would see everybody, George Carlin and Paula Poundstone and like Judy Tenuta and all these obscure people. But then you'd see the huge ones, Eddie Murphy, and like, you know, so I grew up on all that kind of stuff. And
I used to watch that all the time.
And I just found that like comedy and funny shit made me feel better. You know, it just does. I mean, it's the reason there are comedy clubs. You know, it's the reason comedians are so huge right now. Because, I mean, Ricky Gervais, look, selling out coliseums and shit fucking multiple nights in a row because people love to laugh and feel good in this horrible, painful thing called life. You know?
Absolutely. And, you know, the sad part is that comedians are now kind of having to toe the line and be careful about their jokes because everybody gets so upset and offended by stuff anymore. You know, it doesn't make sense.
Some of them are, but no, they're not. They're not. I went and saw Nick Swartzen last week, and dude, he was not holding anything back. The place was packed. Most people don't give a shit about that. Oh, be careful because you're going to offend somebody.
Yep.
The only ones that give a shit about that are the ones getting offended. And who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like we were like that to people in the 90s. I remember George Carlin and the people I grew up fucking 40, 50 years ago being like, oh, people are getting offended. So what? Fuck them. It's been a thing in society forever. Sure, they're a little more vocal now because they have social media. But I mean, the comedians I watch are the biggest ones selling out fucking giant places multiple nights in a row, and they say the most outlandish, offensive shit you can fucking imagine. And I say outlandish, shit that people are, oh, you shouldn't say that, but I'm still doing well and great, you know, like you only have to hide from it if you hide from it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's my philosophy.
All right. Let's take a little break. Let Muck catch his breath over here and get a couple hits. I'm sure he's hurting for a hit. DoktorHigh,
we need to roll another joint.
All right. Well, we're going to run a couple commercials, and then we're going to play another Muck song, and we'll be right back. You guys are hanging with Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh, and we are blessed to have Muck Sticky with us. Here we go.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
Yeah, is his name Josh Blue?
When you help care for a
Josh
loved one,
Blue is
you
hilarious.
give them as much time as you can.
Yeah, he's coming here to Tampa in a couple weeks.
That's the kid with cerebral palsy.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's what's hilarious.
Maintain a healthy life.
Chris in the gym over there says
mental well-being and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one.
Because coming here like the beginning of October, I thought.
Better care you can provide
for November.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
America's Got Talent. Change your life.
Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class.
Hello,
Let's hear what
Glitch.
everyone
How
did
are
this weekend.
you? Thank
Jill?
you for calling me a twat
I raised my older
sniffer.
sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Where were you, Jill?
Yeah, we went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Is marijuana a gateway drug? Hey, Mississippi, why don't we take a ride to Dauphin, PA today?
Dauphin? What's in Dauphin?
Bella's badass crystals.
Oh, but I thought you hang out with them on Facebook and on TikTok.
That's only on Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, Sundays. Today, I want to go there and pick up all my great finds.
That sounds like a great road trip. That's Bella's Badass Crystals on TikTok and Facebook, but you can also find them at the top of the mountain in Dauphin, PA.
They are badass.
Say bye-bye to bottled water. Holistic Health Water has certified medical-grade water ionizers that make 7 types of water, including healthy alkaline. There's a 5-micron filter that lasts up to a year. Each machine lasts 25 to 30 years.
Yeah,
Your boss or install under your sink. Even get a mineral spa unit for your shower. Go to ownyourwater.org to get a free ebook. Plus, pay for any machine in full and get an extra filter free. Change your water and change your life. Ownyourwater.org.
Yeah, baby, it's Muck Sticky. Join me as I return to the stage for the first time in over 4 years, September 16th and 17th, 2023, in Jacobsburg, Ohio, at the OVDJ Campout. It's gonna be a wild time, baby. The Mucker ship has returned to Earth, and I'm bringing you all back to outer space with me. Get your tickets online. Check out the OVDJ Campout on Facebook events, or go to mucksticky.com.
One of my favorites.
Rain, everybody stop, drop, and roll. Ricky Bobby, I'm on fire. Get him so fucking cold. On the microphone, I get in the zone, get in my way. Ain't no beat your best, she's sitting home alone. I'm a stoner rock and roller like a bowler, knocking down the pins. I'm a roller, dozen doobies, who's for two? I'll put in the winter, roast you like a chicken dinner, toast you like a glass of champagne, eat you up like propane. Don't you know I'm your mate? Warm you up in your brain. My inferno is eternal, I'm igniting your flame. A volcano that's erupting, spewing lava on the mic. Good times and good rhymes. JJ, put me down on it. Light it up, light it up. Grab my guitar, baby, pluck a tune. Hotter than some pavement down south in the month of June. Give you everything that you desire. Crochet to prove it off because I spit hot fire. How do you do? Oh, we're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. How do you do? Oh, we're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. Sticky, sticky, sticky muck, puffin' on a fat junk. I be blazing through 'em, looking for the chewing. If treat you to a nice meal, maybe stick a shrimp, pickle, pickle, pepper, Peter Piper, whistling, hanging up and down the street. The trunk rattling, battling the evil horses, beat 'em like a bitch and meet 'em clever when I'm on the level, devil in the air, just trimming up them big buds like the thunder, trimming heads like a travel to the cosmos. Almost any time I wish, munching on some mushies, applesauce in the dish. Kiss a fat doobie, suck a fat booby. Sticky mucker blowing up, exploding like a bluey. Chewy like Chewbacca. I be like a flock of seagulls, getting red, baby, shitting on your head. Said I ain't stopping till I drop fucking dead, which means I'm gonna be here forever. How do you do? Oh, we're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. How do you do? Oh, we're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. Do you get high? I'ma take a toe, can't pass it off of you. You can puff it like a choo-choo. Need a fun tune, don't you know I'm coming through? How do you do? A real chicken in your grinder, looking for some Mary Jane. Don't you know I'm gonna find her? Don't need a reminder. I know when I'm low, I get high with a little help from my friend Joe. Sing out of tune, so you stick around. Might find me in the shower, swinging my dick around. Finding like a circus, working on a good buzz. You're fuzzy on the details, sending you an email. Never does the weed fail to take me to a higher plane. Planet sticky monkey is only here in the brain. You can never maintain, and this is a pack, and I'm back. Now let's burn another sack. How do you do? Oh, we're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. How do you do? Oh, we're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. We're chicken in your grinder. a lot of content, but I got much more. With my super groovy doobie, I'm gonna get lit. Take a big old hit, cause this shit's legit. So what you want? I want the cash for the show up front. Don't keep kick around like a punt. For the fun, I'm always on the hunt. Along and get down, laugh it all around. Aren't you glad you found the funky, fresh, looking Muck sound? We can go downtown, party like a prince. I'm making a fun, let the good times commence. Let me just bring a fine me, soaking up the sunshine, toking up the fun kind, looking up at one time, cooking up a fun rhyme to go along with dinner. Crossing that finish line, looking like a winner, baby. How do you do? Oh, we're shaking in your ground, we're shaking in your ground, we're shaking in your ground. How do you do? Oh, we're shaking in your ground, we're shaking in your ground, we're shaking in your ground.
WTHC. Good afternoon, everybody. 12:51 over here on the East Coast of America. Tuesday, September 12th, the greatest day in my life. I got Muck Sticky hanging out over here on the stage with me.
Yeah, baby.
Woohoo! Oh, Muck, thank you again so much for being here and hanging. I freaking love all your music. It makes me want to dance, and I don't like to dance, but I want to dance every time.
Yeah.
I think I will be dancing. You might see me from the stage, the big fat guy down on the ground dancing over there.
Just hear it. Listen to the groove. Don't resist the urge to move. You ain't got nothing to prove. Just let it soothe your soul.
Right.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to do. All right.
You got to do, baby.
All right. Let's get back to it. Dr. High, your next question.
So I'm wondering, what's the writing process like for you? Does the music just kind of come into your mind and then you sit down and put lyrics to it? Or do you see something that makes you think about, like a comedian would, right? Through observing something in society, and then you start to put together the story first and then bring the music into it? Or how does it flow for you? Or is it different all the time?
It's definitely different all the time. The usual way for me, like if you're talking about like the actual, like, all right, let's create the song, it usually starts by me, working on a beat, or having, like, playing the guitar and coming up with a lick, or some chord progression or something.
Right.
And I'll hear that, and then I'll create the music, and then I usually write the lyrics once the song is done. However, throughout life, I do observe things and say, "Oh, that would be a good lyric. And I got some notes, on my phone, or I'll come to my notepad. I'm an old school guy. I keep my notepad right here in front of me. This is how I work.
Yeah. Do you sit down with the expressed intent of writing, or is it more just throughout the course of life? You're in the mood, you pick up the guitar, you start playing around, and then it comes? Or do you say, you know what, I got to sit down this week, I got to write? You know what I mean? Or
I don't ever say I got to sit down and write. A lot of songwriters do say that we're supposed to look at it like it's our job,
Right.
But I've never found that fun, it's because, like, a job is kind of something you have to do, and I do have to make these songs.
Right. But for a different reason.
Don't get me wrong, I am compelled by the universe to make them, but I don't consider it like it's never rigid or structural. It's always just like a feeling. Being
well,
an artist.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a lot of hats I have to wear.
Right.
So I have to juggle a lot of different aspects of being an artist. Most artists, I won't say most artists. In fact, fewer artists than most artists have a manager, an agent, a label, all these people working to make sure that artist is just able to be the artist.
Right.
I've never been afforded that luxury. I've always had to make sure everything gets done.
One man band, so to speak.
There's pros and cons to that.
Right.
It spreads you a little thin, but you get, you end up a lot better off in the long run too, I believe.
You do.
Owning your own stuff. So
and you get to be yourself still, right? You only answer to you. And that's the only person in this life we should really have to answer to as ourselves,
that is probably the main reason I do it like I do it, is because I don't feel like I will ever allow anyone to tell me what to do with my art,
Yeah. And with a label, you would have pressures, most definitely. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of pressures there sometimes from those influences, because their objectives come from a different place than an artist. An artist creates because they have to create, because it's in them to create, because they're compelled to do it, like you said earlier. But on the industry side of it, they're compelled to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're more interested in the package rather than the person. I think so.
And it's funny you say that too, because that's a conflict that I've had most of my career, is what you were just talking about. An artist creates because it's what they have to do. It's like, it's like a God calling us to do it, and like, I think Michael Jackson was, said, our if we have a job, it's to become an antenna to bring God into the room and then let God come out through the music,
Right.
So, and I'm paraphrasing, I wasn't quoting him.
Right.
But the conflict with being your own manager and label and agent and all that is you have to work on business things that consider money. Business is money, you know what I'm saying? And you have to, as an artist, you can have a day job. I did have day jobs for the many years in the early years.
Sure.
Having to work something else while I'm creating my art on the side. It took a long time before I was able to just fully dedicate myself to my art.
Right.
But even still, this whole time since then, I've had to not be an artist and be a businessman as well as be an artist.
Right.
And it kind of like eats away at your soul as an artist, because you don't want to think about having to try to sell music to people or
because you're trying to bring something that's uplifting and enhances people's lives. And that you also got to step into an arena where it's real battle.
I got to design my website, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
To make sure. And like, as an artist who is doing something that's a calling and a purpose, I want I've seen how, I know how music affected me. That's the foundation of it.
Right.
When I was young and influential, music shifted and shaped me, it conditioned me to how I felt about life,
Right. Absolutely.
And so I know what certain music does, and I know what other music does.
Yeah.
And the music that I know that gave me the feelings of wanting to be alive and loving life and having a passion for it, is what like brought me out of my darkness. It's like brought me out of my depths of despair and depression and wanting to not be here. And so knowing what music has done for me, to know that it's done the same thing for other people, is like that. For one, that's like, the most beautiful thing. That's the reason I do it.
Right.
But knowing that, you want it to get to as many people around the world as possible, because of that core thing. It has nothing to do with making $1 or whatever. Like, I can't tell you how many CDs I gave away in the early years. Thousands of CDs I just gave away for free.
Yeah.
Even though they cost me money to make and studio time and months of effort beforehand to create the music to put on the CD. It's like, you know, you see that meme going around a lot, like, you know, like people ask me why I charge so much to do my service. It's not because the service only takes me 5 minutes. It's because the 20 years it took me to learn how to do that service in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, but regardless of all that, I don't care about, I have not made all the money back that I've put into this for sure over the 20 years. And probably still won't for several more years, even if I, you know, strike it rich tomorrow, which I'm doing okay. I'm doing very, very, very well. I must say that because I don't want it to sound like I'm not doing well. I'm doing extremely well, and I feel extremely blessed and grateful that I've been able to stick it out long enough to do well with it. Most artists aren't able to. But knowing what the music does for people and the good feelings that it provides, you want it to reach as many people around the world. So you have to think like a business-minded person and be like, yeah, I'm going to do an interview and I'm going to promote this here and I'm going to book this show over there. And you know, like if I had my way, I would just sit back and make the music and somebody else would be like, hey man, you're doing an interview tomorrow. Hey man, you're playing this show here. And hey man, you know, you're doing this. Okay, cool. As long as hey, you want to do this show tomorrow? Yeah, okay, I'm cool with that. Hey, you want to do that interview? Yeah, I'm cool with that. Hey, you want to do it? Yeah. I would be totally fine with someone else doing it. But
you can't trust that you're going to get your quality. Like you want it to be to a certain, you know, standard.
And I will say I have been very fortunate along the way to have many people come along and work with me in various aspects to help in certain things. Right now, and for the last several years, one of my best friends that I've ever had, his Discord name is Penis Envy. His real name's Nick. He calls himself by a bunch of different things. He's his own artist in his own right. He makes like chill vibe music, right? You know, to like, you know, those like lo-fi beats and stuff. But he produces a lot of my music. He produced most of my Man in Pajamas record. He produced some of the Freshly Baked record. He'll be there at the show this weekend. I do have great help with people. I have
shout out to Penis Envy,
my bro Ricky. I have a handful of people that I work with throughout my world that do help me in like giving me advice and helping with certain things. But when as far as like people in the industry doing it, there is none of that. We are our industry, and I like it that way. In all honesty, I like it that way. This is not a complaint. This is like and it's not a braggadocio either. It's just saying, hey, we know what we do. We like how we do it. We've got our system.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
We're moving forward. We're growing, and people around the world are listening to our shit every day, and it's getting more and more by the day. I see new evidence of it every single day of people. Oh my gosh, I just found your music. I can't believe you have 17 albums in 20 years. And so
I understand that.
I'm one of them.
Like I had this recognition the other day. Like, you know, I told you the Doors are my favorite band, one of my first bands that I was a fanatic of when I was like 15, right? So I'm a 15-year-old kid, which at the time, you know, I should have been into whatever was like current, but I was into the Doors, you know, something that was before I was alive, you know?
Maybe you just have an older soul.
Well,
you know?
True, but it lets you know that there are millions of people out there, young and old, who can come along to something that was around before they were even born and become the biggest fan of it. So my thing isn't like I don't have to be on the top of the Billboard charts to be, you know, doing well or popular. You know what I'm saying? There are plenty of bands that are like one of my favorite bands ever is Ween. You will never see them on any Billboard top chart, whatever. Hopefully you would, but I doubt it. You know, maybe you will, but they're in an obscure, but they're huge. They have massive audience, you know. And there are a bunch of bands like that. Flaming Lips is another one of my favorite bands. They have massive audiences, but you don't see them.
They're from Montreal, right?
On the front pages of everything, you know, because that's not what's important to music fans.
No.
What's important to music fans is the music itself and
the
how
connection. The connection you feel to the artist because of the music that artist creates. It's inside of you. That's why your mind can hear a song you haven't heard in 25 years that you used to love, and your brain picks it up right away, and the words come back, and you know what I mean? And why we attach so many different things from our lives. Like you get married, you have a wedding song, right? That song stays for all those years. Like music
sticks with you.
Really one of the most important forms of communication that we have in mankind, you know? One of the most deepest connecting ones for sure. And the thing is now the world is changing. The corporate way is not going to be the same because people want to be in their communities, right? Communities of like-minded people. That's why social media is so popular, because you join your groups, right? You're with people who have the same values and the same thoughts. And being able to connect like this is going to change the game. This is a more important way to connect with people like this. So being somebody who's big, that has a record label that's handling all their social media and all their marketing for them, and they remain kind of inaccessible while it still appears that they're one of the group, right? But when you're real, you're real. And
that's very true. I've met celebrities across the board, and it's funny you say, like, life's so surreal, man. You just said, what you're talking about, how like people have had music, it's for, eons or what. I forget exactly what you said, but there's a line again in my new song coming out this Friday, Get Down, that says, this music has for centuries been used to put the soul at ease, and there's a reason why that nobody can deny. And
I wouldn't be even surprised.
It's the language of the soul, man. It's the language of the soul. It really is. And
I wouldn't be surprised if Neanderthals were tapping on the logs they were sitting on around the fire, right?
Totally.
It wouldn't surprise me, because as humans, we have some kind of rhythm in us. I don't know what it is, but we actually
our heart, man. It's our heart. That's why the BPM is that's why BPMs are set at the tempo they're set at a lot of times in music. If you want fast, if you want people to dance and feel upbeat, you set your beat to about 132, because it raises your heartbeat to 132. If you want people to mellow out and slow down, you make a slow beat down around 90 or 80. You know what I mean? Because your heart beats in rhythm with the music, and you're exactly right. We have a rhythm in us, and it's our heart.
And it's I guess that makes sense. As simple as that answer is, because it's the one that makes sense, but it's beautiful.
That's crazy though. Yeah,
it's like the old song, the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue.
That's too much, eh?
Let's
get that
back
song.
to it.
I'm not sure who originally did it, but the version I know is Rod Stewart.
Yeah, that would be the one I would know also. Rod Stewart. Yeah. Absolutely.
Rod Stewart. He's so cool.
So when for you, was there a particular moment that you were able to say to yourself, you know what, now I can put aside all the things that I don't want to do in life, and I can just follow my path? I don't have to, when you figured out that being an artist was what you could do and sustain a life, and you take care of your family, and your family's a part of what you do, right? From some of the stuff I saw last night, I saw a couple of interviews that you did. Your mom, your sister, they're a part of the music that you make and all that kind of stuff. So when was the kind of the point, or what was the thing that happened that made you say, you know what? I'm good. I can stick this course now. Was there something like that?
That's a good question. I don't know if there was any moment that really let me know I could make this a career. When my best friend died, and I've told that story many times about, that's why I wear pajamas, because, like I just realized, at the day after his funeral that life is, so precious, and
right.
I don't really, the things that you think matter don't really matter. And in my head, even still, the things that like I find myself always having to remind myself that most of this shit doesn't really matter.
No.
It's like it really, most stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you find out, you realize it doesn't matter in moments of trauma, like if, when your best friend dies in front of your face, or, someone you love goes to the hospital, or you go to the hospital thinking you're going to die. All these things have happened to me and many people. But those things just kind of like when those moments happened, I realized that, about the impermanence of life, and that, it seems like totally against my nature to do things that I don't want to do.
Right.
In all honesty, I still have to do things that I don't want to do, like be a record label and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't really want to do that. And I've tried. I have worked on reconditioning myself to a degree over the years of wanting to do it, because I know what it does if I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I've learned to love it, if you will.
Yeah.
But as far as like, driving a semi truck, or bricklaying, or all the shit that I never drove a semi truck, but I did do a couple of dozen different manual labor jobs before I figured out that this is what I was supposed to be doing with my life.
Right.
But it was just sort of a transitional kind of thing. When my friend died, I had been making the music. I'd also been working other jobs. Shortly after he died, I got a gig going on the road with the rock band Saliva when they were in their prime, like when they were Click Click Boom was their biggest hit. And, like I'm in the Click Click Boom video and a bunch of their other videos from being their roadie. But so I toured with them for like 3 years as their merch guy and band assistant. And I got to see pretty much in the early 2000s, I got to see pretty much every kind of concert and show festival. We played all the big festivals. We played with most every big band at the time. We did the Kiss Aerosmith tour, 73 dates with that. So I got to see Kiss Aerosmith for 73 dates from wherever I wanted to watch the show from, and behind the scenes and working it and all that stuff. So, it was a real learning experience about the music industry. Our tour manager was Scotty Ross, and he tour managed Van Halen for 11 years, and Journey. He was their Journey's tour manager in the early days, and then has been Journey's production manager for the last, dozen years or so since they've been back singing with the new guy. And he did the Jackson 5 and Poison and all these big bands. So I learned from him about how the music business works. I was pretty much his right-hand man for over a year. And I learned about how music works and how to be successful in it. And I think through the course of that, that's probably what gave me the confidence that I could do it. You know what I'm saying? That, all right, well, this is how this business goes. You do these things, and you learned about publishing and merchandising, because I was a merch guy. So I learned about merchandising first, and then touring, and of course, because I was on tour, and then I observed the record labels and management and how they operated somewhat, and so it was a process of learning, I would say, if I were to give you a solid answer.
I'm sure that was a blast those years, because the shows that I've been able to be, I never toured with these guys, but when I go and hang out when they're doing a show where I'm at, or I travel to see one, I have that kind of access, right? Like you're talking about. And it's a beautiful thing. Like it's a great energy back in those places. I love it.
You know, it is. It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of hard work for the crew
yeah,
guys.
absolutely.
So you got to you know, a guy named Fez, who was a merch guy back in the day. I don't know if he's still the merch dude or not, but he, you know, his whole thing was love the band, respect the crew, because the band wouldn't be there doing what they do if it weren't for the crew, you know. So you got to give love and respect to the people working to put on the show.
Teamwork.
And you know, it's a lot of hard work. It's not all just fun and games.
No, the fun and games go on for 90 minutes. The hard work is the rest of the 22 hours a day you're on the road, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, from my experience when I was the crew guy, you know, we didn't get to sleep until 2 or 3 a.m. You know, the bus usually left the venue. You know, show gets done around midnight. You know, takes you an hour or so to pack up. Band hanging around with fans and stuff, friends, local fans, whatever, you know. And so 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you get on the road, and then you go to sleep in your bunk, and then you wake up somewhere the next day, you know, at the next venue parked outside, you know, in your bunk, and then you get up and you pretty much grab a bite to eat, and then you go to work because you're there. And
that's it.
You know, you start working early in the morning, and then, you know, once you get your shit set up, you know, you can kind of like lounge for a little bit till doors open. But then, you know, you kind of work around the clock as a roadie. You know what I'm saying? It's not party time all the time. You get to be part of the party because the party's going on, but you're working. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, time for 420, Hippie?
Yeah, right.
It's coming up right here.
Nice. Excuse me for a minute.
We should also check into the messages, because we got some questions over here in the chat. So we'll look at those when we come back. Let me run a quick commercial, and then we'll play a 420 song.
Discover the natural path to wellness at Tailored Herbs and Concentrates. Herbs! With a passion for holistic health, we are your trusted source for premium herbs and concentrates.
Wait a minute, do they have weed?
Our dedicated team is here to guide you on your wellness journey. Open 7 days a week, 10 to 10, ensuring you have access to what you need when you need it most. Tailored Herbs and Concentrates is located at 2941 Highway 11, Burnt Church, New Brunswick, Canada. If you need assistance anytime,
I need assistance. I need weed.
Just call 506-871-4299. Tailored Herbs and Concentrates.
Where all the potheads go. Hey, Mississippi, why don't we take a ride to Dauphin, PA today?
Dauphin? What's in Dauphin?
Bella's badass crystals.
Oh, but I thought you hang out with them on Facebook and on TikTok.
That's only on Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, Sundays. Today, I want to go there and pick up all my great finds.
That sounds like a great road trip. That's Bella's Badass Crystals on TikTok and Facebook, but you can also find them at the top of the mountain in Dauphin, PA. They are badass.
WTHC, happy 420 to everybody out there. Let's smoke them every single day.
And it's colder when it's hot. You know we smoke off the pot every single day. Every single day. If you're ever in need, you know we smoke lots of weed every single day. Every single day. And I know it seems like all I ever talk about is smoking weed, but I know you like it too. And my bag don't have a seed, so I'm motivated singing songs and puffing lots of cannabis. I've been to Amsterdam a time or two, and hallelujah for it. Sheba double bubble gum and lots of cream, Moroccan hash, purple power, yellow gab. I love the juicy fruity grass. If you want answers on the positive effects of sticky green, just hang with me, and in one day we'll smoke more than you bet. It's colder when it's hot. You know we smoke lots of pot every single day. Every single
Love it.
If you're ever in need, you know we smoke lots of weed every single day, puffing trees and singing songs, rolling blunts and packing bombs every single day. So if you plan on stopping by, you can plan on getting high every single day. And you know it, clap your hands. If you're lifted and you show it, clap your hands. Now we're all getting silly. I am goofy and I'm proud, making music that is funny, floating on a puffy cloud. How'd you like to be my friend? Cause there is no stress involved. If you're having trouble with somebody, leave them problem solved. I will smoke a hoot or poke a coot or never be in misery. Cause life is good and so is weed. I'm feeling great cause I am free. It's colder when it's hot. You know we smoke lots of pot every single day. If you're ever in need, you know we smoke lots of weed every single day. Puffing trees and singing songs, rolling rustling back and bongs every single day. So if you plan on stopping by, you can plan on getting high every single day.
WTHC, good afternoon. 1:21 in the afternoon on Tuesday. It's Tuesday. This week is flying by already. It's already Tuesday. Goodness, I can't wait. By the weekend, we're going to be hanging with Muck, partying. You guys, there's still tickets on sale, right? A couple left.
Yeah, there's still some left. They're expected to be sold out, though. That's the latest word. They've, they expect they've reserved some for walk-ups, because they know there'll be people coming, just showing up to get in. But,
right. No notice, just kind of walking up and saying, "Hey,
yeah."
we're here.
So there's a little bit of that, but they've got a lot of tickets. I mean, most of the tickets are already sold, so
that's awesome.
It's gonna be a huge show.
It's gonna be so much fun. My daughter is joining me, so I'm gonna have my daughter with me. Yeah, she's coming to party. She's a big fan of some of the other as well, but some of the other groups as well. And like I said, I've been a fan of calligraphy for a little while too, so I'm very excited. I get to meet you guys. I get to meet calligraphy. I get to meet everybody. It's so great. I'm so excited.
There are a lot of great acts on the bill. I'm really looking forward to
I'm looking forward to the DJs too. There's a lot of great DJs that are going to be there.
It's going to be so good. There's in the Facebook event page, there are a lot of videos that some of the DJs are posting of like their mixes and stuff, getting ready for the show. And it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I am so excited. If you're in the Ohio, Jacobsburg, Ohio area, make sure you're going, man. Get there. And if
anybody in Ohio, in surrounding states, I mean,
right.
People are coming from all over the place.
And is Ohio a legal state? Is it recreational?
It's
medicinal, not recreational.
I think they
not
actually
recreational, but medicinal, and it's decriminalized, so you're not going to really get
good to go.
I think that they actually vote on November 7th. This coming November, they vote for legalization in Ohio. Is actually what I read last.
And
I mean, it's legal in Michigan. It's legal in New York. I mean, they're surrounded by legal anyway. So
and where this event is unincorporated, so no cops.
Nice.
So
it's a weekend festival, camping, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Camping.
It's gonna be a blast.
Nice.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. Very, very excited.
We are too.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say we got a fun show planned. A lot of great songs. I'm hearing some of the songs you're playing, like Because I Can, and Every Single Day, and I'm like, fuck, I don't have that one in the list either. Shit.
I see you writing stuff down. I'm like, uh-oh.
When you've got 14 hours worth of songs and you've only got two sets that are 90 minutes each, that only makes up 3 hours.
Yeah, how do you choose?
How do you choose?
It's hard.
Will you do two totally different sets on the different nights, or
mostly there will be I'm playing about 45 different songs altogether.
Okay.
25 a night.
Is it going to be
So
like
there'll be a handful. I think 23 really a night. I say 25, 23,
listen,
and then
23,
22 the next night.
25.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but
that don't make a difference. 2 songs don't make it. But is it going to be like, am I going to be able to keep up with you to be able to know, or are you going to go right from one song right to the next, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's going to be that quick.
Bam, 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 bam. It's
very cool.
Almost nonstop. Almost nonstop. There'll be a couple of times where I'll take a pause and
you're gonna have
talk,
to breathe
but
and get a drink.
Not very much. It's all about the music this go around. So
man, I'm so fucking pumped. I cannot wait. I cannot tell you. I haven't been to it. Well, I mean, I went and saw Kiss a few years ago with Mrs. Hippie, and that was great. It was a great show. But you're gonna be the first concert in a few years that I've gone to see that I'm like, and I'm not bringing Mrs. Hippie, so it's even better. I still got the little hippie, little Mrs. Hippie.
The little Mrs. Hippie, yeah.
Little Mrs. Hippie's coming to babysit me, I'm sure. But yeah, it's gonna be all right.
It's gonna be fun, man. There are a lot of people who's like our buddy Stangbud from the Discord. It's gonna be his first concert, his first real concert. He's been to another show, but it got canceled because the sound. Something with the sound happened to his first show. So this will be his first real concert. And I just realized that there are public comments on this thing right here. I have not been seeing that this whole time. For some reason, when I logged in, it was on private chat. So I just didn't see anything scrolling. So hello to everyone in the chats. I appreciate all the good vibes. I see one person asked about Texas. We're definitely going to be playing Texas. Dallas is like our second or third biggest city in the country. So,
as far
we'll
as
definitely be playing a Texas run.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sure.
I'm curious, which states do you look forward to going into because you know you're going to get the finest smoking concentrates when you're there?
Muscadine wine.
Do you have any favorite states because of the access you have while you're there? I mean, there are legal states, but
that's definitely part of it. It's I like places that have nice people, but then again, most places I go to, the people who show up to our shows are nice people. So we as far as the weed goes, I like the Pacific Northwest, man. They have great herb up there. No disrespect to Michigan or any of those places because they have great herb too. But
I've always heard Oregon and Seattle, and
I do get a little nervous driving through places like Kansas and Nebraska where it's super not legal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is now, but I haven't toured in quite a while. So I'm sure some of the places have changed that I used to be nervous driving through. Because that's the only reason I've ever felt like a criminal in my life is because
because of the food.
Otherwise, I wouldn't give a shit about getting pulled over by the cops. I do nothing else wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? So.
No, I get
those are the only places I don't like going is where it's like super illegal.
Yeah, or where the attitude is so closed, right? And it's still pretty incredible with all the information that's out there now, how closed-minded still some communities can be when it comes to cannabis. Yet alcohol is available all over the place. Not that it's bad to have a drink, but alcohol causes a lot more problem in society than cannabis ever has or ever will. So.
Yeah, that's a given. And I think everybody knows that at this point. I think that's why everything's changing so drastically and quickly. I mean, when I started making pot smoking music in the late 90s, early 2000s in Memphis, Tennessee, it was very highly illegal. I had friends that got arrested and spent weekends in jail, thousands of dollars in fees and lawyers and fines and shit. Probation for a joint roach, less than this right here. You know what I'm saying? And so and I was still very outspoken about my pot usage. So I've always been had that feeling about, not hiding it, and it's been nice to watch the evolution of it going from that to now where it's still illegal in Memphis where I'm originally from.
Right.
But I think it's a little more tolerated and decriminalized. I think you just get like a ticket or something now, but it still is like a segue into, other things, which, I want the cops to find the bad people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Doing the foul shit.
Absolutely.
Because there is a lot of foul shit out there. But
no doubt.
If I'm just a pod smoker, man, as long as I ain't like causing a ruckus on the road, I shouldn't have any problem with anybody.
No, absolutely not. You should never have any reason to come into contact with people who question what you're up to anyway. Really.
Yeah. We have to be careful where we get. We have to be careful where we get booked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the small towns, you got to be like.
Have you had problems like that before, where your reputation has preceded you, and you've had problems within a community where you were, scheduled to perform?
Yeah, like picketers out front. We say no to Muck.
No, not really, man. No, nobody. We've never had any protesters. That's for sure. Because
good.
We're kind of like cool with everybody, man. I consider myself like the Jimmy Buffett of hip hop comedy music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I gotta cut you off for a second.
I want everybody to get along and have a good time. I'm not here to cause any trouble.
Yes.
You tell me what we need to do, and we'll make it all good. If the only problem you have is with me smoking weed, I won't do it where anybody can see.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We have had a couple of places get mad at us and not want us back because we were smoking like in the dressing room and they could smell it out everywhere,
Right.
Like,
I need to interrupt.
But that was 15 years ago, you know what I mean? So shit's changed since then.
Yeah.
Right. I got to interrupt. I have to, because this has come up twice in my brain since we started the show. Earlier, when you were talking and you said how music, you were listening to bad music, then you changed, you started listening to your own type of music that you liked, whatever. That it happened to me as well. And in my lifetime, I was, music has always been a part of my life. I've always loved it. I had no intention on being a DJ. That's why I'm pretty crappy at it. I feel, I could be a lot better.
No.
You're good.
You really are good at it.
I try, and I want to be better. And this is the first time that I've ever done something in my life that I actually love. And I'm here every single day for the last 2 years.
That's the key, man.
Yep,
That's the key.
And it doesn't feel like work. But that being said, you just mentioned him again. Jimmy Buffett was the dude who changed my life. I was listening to, and I love Metallica, and it wasn't heavy metal. It wasn't that crap, not crap, but it wasn't that, kill your mother, death metal kind of stuff, It was, regular classic rock and rock and roll. Well, out of and I was in a bad place, and weed and Jimmy Buffett changed my life. And Jimmy, rest in peace, that man. I can't believe he's gone. I love you, brother.
I can totally believe he's gone because he did his work, man. You know what I'm saying? We're all gonna go, bro.
Yep.
And once you realize that, it makes it so sweet. And you almost kind of, it makes you not sad about the ones who go, man, because he did it, man. He got through it.
When I meet you this weekend, I'm gonna take my shirt off. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm gonna show you. You're gonna have to look at my man boobs. I have tattoos. My half of my chest and my whole sleeve is Jimmy Buffett.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
It's a sleeve of Jimmy Buffett songs and hidden treasures inside of it.
He's hugely influential to me too. I don't have tattoos dedicated to him. I might have to do a tattoo. I do most of my own tattoos, so I might have to do one for him. But his music was just it was threaded throughout my life growing up. It was amazing. Always playing somewhere. And then as I got older, I didn't listen to it as much in my teenage years, but then once I got back into like the brighter side of life, you know, it was always around, you know. I would consider him, I would consider Jimmy Buffett one of my top 20 favorite artists. You know, I can't say where on the chart. He may be 14 on the chart, but I just, you know, I don't really have any placement for anybody. They're all just in a group. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Right. I mean, I don't really ever have a favorite artist, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be him.
There's a core, right?
I was in a bad place. I was doing bad things, and I met a guy who was a big Buffett fan, and him and I just stopped doing the things that I was doing, and I started hanging out with this guy who listened to Jimmy Buffett every day and smoked weed and drank tequila once in a while, but drank those, you know, the Jimmy Buffett beer. I can't think of it right now because I'm on the spot, of course, but it fins up, you know, whatever.
Fins up beer,
yeah. But he, you know, and I just started hanging with him on a regular basis, and I put that glass stem thing down for the rest of my life, and I started smoking weed every day instead of that other stuff. And
good for you, man. That's
filling out and
music can change your life, man. It really can.
He absolutely did. Music is all I've ever had. My parents were very strict and very very mean, and we didn't get TV, and when we did, it was very limited. It was like the Little House on the Prairie, and that was it. And then we were in bed after that, and that was on from 6 to 7.
But there were such great moral lessons in Little House on the Prairie.
Little House on the Prairie is a great fucking show. My sister still watches that show all the time. And I'll sit down.
It's
and
like
watch
the Andy Griffith. How could it be a bad world if you're in Little House on the Prairie or the
Andy Griffith?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
my buddy Keith Sykes was in Jimmy Buffett's Coral Reefer band.
I was playing a song of his yesterday. I played him yesterday. That one you recommended.
And he and Keith played the owner of the general store in our movie Dig That Zebo Newton. He and I also did a song together called I'll Show You. There's a music video of it on YouTube. But he and I have been friends for many years now. Keith and my mom were friends in their college days. He's from Memphis originally, and had a bunch of hits early in the 70s, and throughout his career, he's had a bunch of, you know, pretty good hits. He's written and played with he's good friends with Bonnie Raitt. No, he's that whole music, Jimmy Buffett, that whole community of people. He was like really, really great friends with John Prine, wrote a lot of stuff with John, and you know, played with John at many of his shows, and which that's another artist that I'm a huge fan of. In 2019, I'm buddies with Post Malone, and so 2019 I went to Bonnaroo to hang out with him, and early in the day I ate some mushrooms. And
I'm so jealous.
And I knew John Prine was playing, and I'd never seen him play. And I rode with a guy to Bonnaroo who was doing some special effects work, like doing some pyrotechnical work. And Post wasn't going to get there till later in the evening, right? So I was just there kind of hanging out during the day by myself, right? And I went to like the artist tent and made friends with some folks, and we went and played hacky sacks on mushrooms in the woods. But I knew John Prine was playing, and like, I'm not going to miss John Prine. So I'm tripping my balls off on mushrooms, and I was backstage the whole time, but I wandered out into the public part of Bonnaroo, into the fucking sea of people.
Yeah.
I mean, a literal sea of people. I've never physically been in a place with that many people at one time. I've been to, you know, Mardi Gras and Beale Street Music Fest and all this shit. And Bonnaroo is just insane. And but I made my way, and I got right up against the rail and watched almost all of John. I think I missed like the first two songs And then I watched it all the way to the end, and then I left and wandered back to where I was from, back to the other stage. But it was fucking wild. I'll never forget that, watching John Prine. And then he passed away the following year, from COVID or whatever. I think it was. We didn't get all that.
Wow. Yeah. Anyway,
have you ever played in Canada?
I have not. I have never played in Canada. I've been to Canada many times with Saliva, with them playing as a roadie, but never played there myself. We're talking about playing this coming year.
Hopefully, it'll all work.
Because we're very weed friendly here.
Yes, I know. I'm very aware of that. In fact, some of the best fucking weed I ever had, I bought from a dude running an adult video store out in the middle of fucking nowhere in Alberta. I think it was Alberta.
Yeah. It would have been BC, but most likely, because when you were talking about the Pacific Northwest having some of the finest weed you found in the country, it's right there with British Columbia, where the finest Canadian weed comes from too. So it's that region of North America where it's just perfect for production, and you have the right kind of people there producing. The craft growers, the people who really do it for passion, not for profit. You know what I mean? Changes the game.
It does. It really does. It's all about the love. We have a buddy, Seed Squatch. I think he's played a song here a couple times. He's a grower up there, and it does it because he loves doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the love, and it's what it should be. You know what I mean? You got to have the love and the passion before anything else. All the other stuff will come as long as you have the love and the passion. You know what I mean? And to me, it's about community. You know what I mean? We're all.
It's a culture.
That was my thing growing up. It's like, man, how can any stoner argue or fight with each other when there's so many people against what we do together?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have that common denominator between us, and there are people out there against it. When it shouldn't bother them. If they want to go fucking
smoke cigarettes,
drink alcohol, fucking if they want to.
Bitch,
do whatever.
Like winks naked around the fucking
mice traps,
full of fucking green jello and slother it all over themselves. I don't give a shit. They can fucking do what they want. I'm not trying to tell them how to be. Just don't tell me how to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
100%.
So I ain't trying to force anybody else to smoke weed either. I'm just telling you what it does for me and how good it makes me feel. If you choose to do it, then so be it. But that's if we smoke weed, man, we should be buddies right off the bat.
There's a common denominator that's
all the other bullshit.
Outsiders, absolutely. And the funny thing is, and I don't know if we've all experienced, but I certainly have. I can smoke a joint by myself and get high, but if I took that same joint and shared it with somebody else,
I get higher.
I get higher. What I mean? Like, there's something about sharing a joint that makes it
a more enjoyable,
better experience. You know what I mean?
I agree 100%.
It's really strange how it works, but it says something.
That's crazy. That is crazy. That might answer some of my mental issues here.
You don't have a smoking partner.
I do a lot of smoking in here all by myself with this puppet. I mean, with the fat guy over here.
Well, as long as you have other people in the Discord room that are smoking, you're technically not smoking.
All right, that's true. But I think I need to have Crazy Laurie's lips on the joint to make me get higher.
Well, in a couple of days you will. You know what I mean? In a couple of days you will.
That's true. That is
true. Yeah, that's what concerts are all about, man. It's coming together.
Well, that's what I love.
The beautiful thing about it is people coming together for a shared love of music and camaraderie. You know what I mean? Like, we're there to just, enjoy each other's presence. And there's a feeling you get. I haven't played a show in over 4 years. And then it was, and those were in 2019. And then before that, it was 2015 before I had played a show. So it's really been like 8 years since I've done a lot of show playing, right?
Right.
And I've expressed to, my people that, like I need to play live shows and have that connection with playing the music and being right there with the audience, singing the songs back with me and me looking at them and them looking at me. And we have that feeling together because, and like I said, even though you're right, even though we have the Discord to hang out in, or we have the internet, I do broadcasts on Instagram, TikTok, and all this stuff. It's not the same as like being right there and our brain waves sharing that energy. You know what I mean?
You know what I love is the festival feel about it. The festival feel that it's not a concert. This is a festival. It is.
Well, it's an energy
time. Yeah, and it's 2 or 3 days. It's not just a get in there and get out and then worry about the traffic getting home. You're going to be able to go there, lay down, relax, sit back, chill out, listen to the tunes, bake up, get high, have a great time with a bunch of great people. It's just going to be awesome.
Yeah, and then fucking pitch a tent and go to sleep and wake up and do it again the next day.
That's right.
Easy with the pitching of the tent.
It's like church, right? Like a lot of people maybe who don't use cannabis can understand the analogy of church, but when a community gathers in a church to join together for a common purpose, they get an energy transference that they give their energy and they receive it back. And that's why they feel good. And that's what gives them that feeling of hope and that uplifting. That's why congregations pray for members who are ill and things like that, right? Because that energy goes. So when you go to a concert or you go to an event like you're going to this weekend, it's the same concept. There's an energy that pervades that area because everybody is there for a common goal, a common purpose. The energy's right. The vibes are good. And sometimes, like we saw with the last Woodstock, that can change. You know what I mean? You pray it never does, but that's all how.
Or this Running Man or Runner Man thing that happened in
Vegas. Burning Man, yeah, but that was a weather thing. I don't think. I mean, that probably
screwed the vibe big time. You got to think about this too. A lot of stuff that you hear, especially when it's negative, when you're hearing about it in the public forum, a lot of people hyperbolize the negative. They blow it out of proportion. I know many people that went to Burning Man this year and they're like, man, it was awesome. We had a blast. There was great music, people having a good time. We were all enjoying each other's company. Sure, we were trapped, but we had a great fucking time anyway, because we were all there to celebrate the same thing, and we just said fuck it and enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, and I know several people who went to the second Woodstock and came back saying the exact same thing. It wasn't as bad as they made it out to be.
It got crazy at the end of it, but during it, you still had a good time, and you can't let the negative outweigh the good. You know what I'm saying? And if you think about the word festival, it comes from festive, which means cheerfully and jovially celebratory. So I mean. That's the whole reason it's called that, is because people come together to be cheerful and jovial and have a celebration of music and love for life. You know what I mean? And so that's what we're going to do this weekend in Ohio. I hope everybody's ready for it. I hope
I'm ready for it.
That will be a blast.
Glitch is yelling at us. She said, you got to watch the guidelines. Be careful. She yells at me all the time when I get out of control.
What are guidelines? I don't follow rules.
What guidelines are you talking about?
I don't follow rules. The ones that get us in trouble. I guess you were getting a little rowdy there. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I don't follow rules. I mean, I'm not sorry, but I don't follow rules. And if it's the internet, I mean, it's the internet, right? There's no rules on the internet.
Right? Glitch. You don't follow rules either.
Yeah, I don't follow any rules. Sorry.
I want to know what.
Don't do what anybody says. No, nobody's been able to control me for a long time. Nobody ever will. So.
How many songs are going to be new? Are you just releasing the one new one, or is there more?
Yeah, there'll just be the one new one. There'll be some that a bunch that have never been played before, in a live setting. Especially from the last couple of records because I've done like 3 records since I played a live show.
Right.
So,
And you said with COVID and all that, you haven't.
COVID was a real damper on the live music scene. That's for sure.
It's gonna be pretty wild, man. We're gonna go crazy. You're gonna hear most everything that you've wanted to hear and more.
I can't wait. What else, Dr. High? Any other questions?
I was just wondering if do you have a routine that you follow to get ready for shows?
Not too much of a necessarily a routine. Beforehand I just rehearse a whole bunch, which I've been doing for several weeks now, and so I mean the show's in great shape. It's just a matter of getting up there and doing it like I do. And then the main thing is just try to stay relaxed. A lot of people will come up to me before a show and like, hey man, let's smoke a joint. Hey man, let's smoke a joint. And before the show, I don't smoke with people because it'll like wear out my throat, and make my throat harsher than it needs to be during the show.
Are you listening, Lori? Are you listening, Curly Cal? Leave them alone.
I mean, that's everybody. I mean, dude, they're not. I mean, that's the way it is at every single show. It's always that way. It never fails, and I'm sure it will be that way this time with dozens of people. But after the show, I don't mind partying down, you know what I mean? Because then I don't have to worry about it too much. I can rest my voice and go to sleep and all that. But
so what ends up on the stage more, joints or panties and bras?
I don't know. Usually it's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
It depends on the venue, the region,
what are we expecting this week?
The south is more panties and bras. The north is more joints.
There's more joints.
All right, I'm gonna be up there with a fishnet.
And you'll happen to be in the north this time. Ohio's in the north, so
yeah,
it looks like it'll be a festive couple of evenings.
I am going to be up front with a net trying to catch all the joints as they're flying up at you. I'll be the collector.
I hear there's going to be a dude there with a 6-foot joint. So
yeah, that's my buddy Billy. That's Billy Blaze from from Calligraphy, from Holistic Cloud.
All right.
Yeah, that's Billy Blaze. I've been talking to them about it. They said 4 foot. We're beating it because they said you said something about 4 foot was something about your biggest that you've ever been on. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that was back in like 2007 when I played the High Times Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam. That was the world record joint at the time. But I mean, that was 15, 16 years ago. So, I mean, I'm sure a gazillion bigger joints since then. I just personally haven't smoked on any of them. Like, I've been offered to. I just, a lot of times it's been right before the show. So if you want to have me in on that joint, wait till after.
I'm going to tell Billy. I'll make sure I'll talk to them and tell them, make sure it's for after the second show or the first show or after the first.
Probably after the second show on that one. If we're going to blaze it down, that'll be a good way to cap off the festival. Because, I mean, we'll be there that night. There's still a few more acts after I play that night, I think.
Yeah, so, Chasing Rabbits or something, right? Chasing Rabbits.
Yeah, that's one of the DJs. They're like part of the OVDJ Productions thing. They, they're putting on the whole thing. And, I normally close the show out, but we thought since it's like a dance type festival that it would be good to have a DJ play for a little while afterward to kind of keep the vibe going. And, everybody still wants to hear music. We're going to be hanging, what I mean? So
that gives us time to hang.
We don't want the music to just shut down and what everybody got to do. I guess we got to go lay down our tents and go to sleep. No, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to keep the music going and partying. It's going to be wild, man.
I got great news. Mrs. Hippie has lost a lot of weight recently, and she has a lot of extra big bras here that I'm going to bring, and I'm going to throw them up on the stage for you.
It don't count unless it comes off the female at the show.
Oh.
It's not, I mean, I could go to the fucking thrift store and buy a fucking stack of bras right
That's
now.
all right.
You know what I'm saying?
Kelly's volunteered to take care of that for them.
Well, she was
I
going
don't
to give him
need
the
used
goodwill.
bras by any means. It's the gesture from the female. I don't want them coming from a dude, especially either. No offense.
It's not the gift; it's the thought behind the giving.
Exactly.
Right? That's what it comes down to.
But I was thinking about you when I threw those at you.
Hey, so now that you just
don't want you thinking about me like that, brother. No fear.
So you got me curious because it's always been a dream of mine to go to a High Times Cannabis Cup.
Yeah.
What was that like? That must have been a pot
that was
lover's
like
heaven, eh?
Man, it was literally a dream come true, man. We were like in the summer of, I guess it was spring. It was probably like April of 2006. We were on tour with my bros Taco and the Mofos and my buddy Mr. Safety, who's like huge internet viral legend dude. He's got tons of huge internet viral. You remember the video going around back in the day where the dude skipped the rock across the frozen lake and it made like a weird noise. Like, woo! Yeah. I mean, it was like hundreds of millions of views on this video. Everybody saw it. That's a good friend of mine. And so we met on MySpace. He put out like some funny comedy songs back in the day, and he had this. He first got famous for having this giant rubber band, this like 10-foot rubber band, and he would go around to like he kind of like ran with the Jackass dudes a little bit, and would like have people pop the rubber band on him, right? So, anyway, we were all down in Florida on a tour, and my buddy Charlie from Taco and the Mofos had a VHS tape from the 2005 High Times Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam. And we popped in and watched it. I think it was like maybe like Jefferson Starship and a couple other bands. Forget who it was. But we were like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we could do that? And I just like got in my head I was going to do it. So, fans started voting, had already been kind of voting me on the Pot 40, on the High Times Pot 40 list. So like that year, that spring and summer, I was number one on the High Times Pot 40 list for like 6 months, somewhere around number one, number two, but I was always in the top 5. And
one song or a bunch of different songs throughout that time?
No, it wasn't a song. You know, they used to have a thing in the back of every High Times magazine that was like the Pot 40. It was like the 40 hottest things in cannabis culture. It'd be like Bob Marley and Widespread Panic, but then it'd be like Outgrow Big Bro and all these like marijuana, you know, Jorge Cervantes and you know, things that are popular, and we Cheech and Chong, you know, shit that's popular in weed culture, right? And so I went to a speech that Steve Hager from High Times, the guy who founded High Times, was given at the University of Memphis, where I'm from, and I sat front row, and I'd emailed him like once or twice. I was like, hey man, I would love to play the Cannabis Cup this year. You know, I'd seen the video. I was like, hey man, we'd love to do that. I'm pretty famous on MySpace and blah, blah, blah. And so at the end of his speech, somebody asked him, was like, hey, how can we, you know, be proactive in the marijuana community around here? It's so illegal. And they were like, well, go to, you know, your local thing, like organize events like this, go to concerts. Like when Muck Sticky has a concert, go to his concert and set up a booth.
Yeah.
It called me out in front of the whole place, right? The whole amphitheater. And so afterwards I approached him and I was like, hey man, it's nice of you to say that. I appreciate that. He's like, yeah, man, I've been meaning to email you back. We'd love to have you play the Cannabis Cup. And I was like, fuck yeah. So they booked us for it, man. We went, and 2006 was the first year I played with the Cottonmouth Kings, and it was totally surreal, man. It was 10 days in Amsterdam. We get there. he tells us, once we get there, come to such and such location. We go there. Steve Hager gives us 2 giant jars. I mean, giant jars full of weed, like couple of ounces in each jar. And it's like, enjoy yourselves. Here's all your credentials, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy the week. Here's your maps, yada, yada. And so we just spent the whole week going around. We played toward the end of a festival, one of the final nights at the Melkveg, and, legendary venue in Amsterdam. Yep. And I'd always heard about that place growing up. I remember first hearing about it in that song Euro Trash Girl by Cracker. I don't know if you remember the band Cracker.
No.
Yeah, you remember Cracker.
Maybe if I hear it, maybe
be with you, girl, like being low. Hey, 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 you like being stoned. You gotta remember.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah.
Cracker, yeah. So they had a song called Euro Trash Girl, and they talk about the Melkveg in there. Anyway, so played it that year, and then the second year was 2007. They brought us back, and we played with Redman and Jefferson Starship, and Tommy Chong was there getting inducted in the Counterculture Hall of Fame. That's how we became buds. And but yeah, man, like total stoner dream, man. But both years, 10 days of just total sheer insanity in Amsterdam. I'd already been to Amsterdam once before, so I kind of knew Amsterdam a little bit. Me and my buddy Dennis went there like 2 weeks before he passed away in 2002. So I knew the city a little bit. I'd already been there, but man, it was just totally wild being part of that and having, being on High Times, guest list, you know what I'm saying? It was, you couldn't ask for better. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
I probably got 25 years worth of High Times magazines, every one.
Go look back in 2006, man. You'll see me in there a whole lot.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man, that would be the ultimate to be able to attend that event,
I don't know what they're like now. They don't hold them in Amsterdam.
No, because they can hold them in other places now, right? And
yeah, they have them all over in the States.
I mean, I don't know what the quality was like in Amsterdam. You can certainly enlighten us, but I would think that back then, what you're able to find now in Oregon or California or Colorado is probably just as good as what you were able to find in Amsterdam back in the day too. So,
man, Amsterdam was.
Nick says Denver, penis
insane.
envy.
Denver,
Shout out to penis envy.
I have I've had a lot of good weed in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Amsterdam goes, at the time, man, I mean, even still, it holds up to this day, man. You just really, really amazing stuff. Some of it that you get at some of the shops were definitely like, you could tell were like consumer weed that wasn't cured right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as like the stuff we got from High Times, and then like we met a lot of growers like Arion, the King of Cannabis, Soma, all these, legendary people. Our second year, we were the company. Oh yeah, Cannabis Cup is in Denver nowadays. Yeah.
Yep.
The second year, our sponsor also sponsored Jack Herrera, the Jack Herrera, right? And so we get to the airport, Schiphol in Amsterdam, and it's us and like one other group that he sponsored, and then we had to wait on Jack. His flight didn't get there for like an hour or so until after ours did. So we're kind of hanging around waiting on Jack. He comes off the plane and he's just like stoned to shit. It's like 10, 11 hour flight at minimum from the States, right? So
how did that happen?
We're like, how are you so stoned? And he just like opens up his mouth, and he had like 2 big balls of bubble hash just like in his jowls that he just like, he just stuck it in the back of his mouth and walked through security, you know what I'm saying? And then just like
beautiful,
kept the hash just sitting in his jowls throughout the flight. And that guy's a legend, man. I mean, there's a reason why one of the biggest strains of weed ever is named after him, because He was legendary and a super sweet guy too, man. We had lots of cool conversations. He was really, really mellow, pleasant guy.
Well, these were the cannabis warriors, right? These were the guys who put themselves in jeopardy.
Those are the exact words I use about you, Muck.
Everybody was before it was popular or safe to do so, right? So that's why you find
the cannabis warriors, Steve and Anime Gaskin were there. I hung out with them a lot. All the people from like the Haight Ashbury days, like lots of those folks were at those cannabis cups, and like those were I was part of the 19th and the 20th annual cannabis cups.
Okay.
And it was only a few years after that when they stopped doing them in Amsterdam. And I think, High Times kind of changed management and who was running it and that kind of thing. I think Stephen Hager left a couple of years after that. And
so it went corporate.
So things changed. It's the natural evolution of stuff, but it was very special at that time. It was still like there was still that like major sense of like respect to the legacy and awareness of the new at the same time, which I'm sure it still is. I just haven't been part of it. They haven't reached out to me or anything. I haven't reached out to them either. So
it's just kind of a shame, right? Since cannabis is becoming more and more open in society, and that a lot of the legacy people were not able to get in the same way, right? It's difficult. Like I know some of the people here in Canada that really paid the price for cannabis advocacy, but yet can't partake in the industry because of their past involvement in the industry, right? Which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is.
Am I looking at one of them right now?
Well, I participate. But that's why I chose to do my own thing, right? Because I come out of the legacy market. I've worked in the legacy market for a long time. I got 45 years of using cannabis. But I felt that the educational side was the part that was missing, the part of the equation, right? People not knowing the real potential benefits. And that's what inspired me to sit down and write. And like you were talking about giving away CDs. The books that I've written about cannabis, I give away 90% of the books that come off of Amazon come off there for no charge at all, right? I don't care about the money for this. It's more important that people have access to information that is scientifically based on the clinical trials and the observational trials so that they can find the confidence to talk to healthcare providers and move forward with looking to see if cannabis can actually benefit their lives, right? So I kind of focus a little more on the medical side of things, but yeah, any advocacy for cannabis is important.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's funny you ended with that because what I was about to say, I think a lot of the people, which I myself personally, as an individual, have studied it and been a user of it my whole adult life and know all of the benefits from it, have been aware of them since a very young age. But my music is silly and it's I love smoking marijuana, it's like goofy. And I think a lot of people who are into the educational side of it get mad at that, at the jovial side of it, right. Because they think it does a discredit to the educational and medicinal side of it, So I've definitely experienced I know people not digging what I do because it's too goofy and silly, and they think it's it makes a joke or makes it look bad. But that's just their perspective of what I do,
and that's it, right?
That's how they think inside their mind that what I'm doing is bad,
and that's their problem.
Was like any and all advocacy is good for it, because I got to tell you, most people, when they're listening to a song, don't want you preaching to them about all the this serious,
right.
serious.
Yeah,
You know, like
no.
that's not. You know, that was kind of the same way with me. Like me, you know, I could say the same thing about spirituality. I love God and connect and feel like the most amazing energy connected to God, but I don't feel like, you know, a dude up there wagging his finger telling me I'm going to burn in hell if I blah, 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 and I'm a piece of shit sinner. You know, I don't, you know, you're going to fucking turn me away like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? So if you're like wagging your finger about you shouldn't be so stupid and yada, yada, you're going to turn a lot of people who might still get those same benefits that you want them to get from weed, you know, right. But they only want to hear some dude singing about it in a goofy way. You know what I mean? That's all, you know, to them, that's how they feel about it. And that's, you know, I'll defend that as long as I'm alive. It makes me feel good and have fun. And as long as I'm not hurting anyone, which I'm not hurting anyone, singing silly songs about it, you know what I'm saying? You turn the fucking shit off if you don't want, if it makes you feel bad. But
yeah, that's what I said. That's their problem. It's
their problem. Yeah.
No, and there's two sides to cannabis, right? There's the recreational and there's the medical. And the whole thing is that no matter what side you're on or advocate for, you're advocating for both. But it's the safest form of recreational escape on the planet. And it also happens to be a pretty interesting therapy for a lot of different illnesses and medical conditions. So there are both sides of this cannabis journey that should be celebrated and looked at. So
using it recreationally my whole adult life has been preventative medicine. I mean, like I'm one of the healthiest people I know. Don't have to go to the doctor, right? You know, I have been to the doctor like 2 or 3 times in my adult life for minor things like a kidney stone, and you know, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? So, like Tommy Chong said, it's a preventative medicine, you know, and whether I'm knowing that or I'm just doing it because I fucking like the way it makes me feel, I'm still getting the benefits from it either way, you know?
Right.
And there are a lot of people who, if it were just serious and, you know, treated like it's a this major serious thing, it's kind of like I relate it to like jazz musicians, okay? Like jazz musicians, they know every major, minor fucking scale, all these like super all this crazy, intricate, amazing shit, right? I don't discredit them whatsoever. I marvel at how amazing the shit is, right? However, a lot of those types who are into that shit are music snobs. We're like, that's the only thing that's good enough to be considered music, and all that other stupid shit out there is worthless.
Right.
You know, they don't grant any credence or credibility to and it's kind of like the same thing in the marijuana community. There are like, dude, I marvel at the amazing medical benefits, and I learn new shit all the time about it, and I have no disrespect or don't want you to stop preaching about its medical benefits, you know, and making advancements in that. However, there are a lot of people who are in the medical side who are like, you don't need to sing those stupid fucking songs about it. You're giving us a bad name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
that's
like,
wrong.
Right. I've never understood. It's like, but I'm not trying to like tell, you know, it's the same thing as like, if you fucking like listening to Kenny G, that's fine. Go listen to your fucking Kenny G CD, but don't tell me my fucking shit's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you know,
I love Kenny G's awesome, but I'm not telling you not to fucking listen to it. But you know, like, you know, I don't know.
That's it. There's a duality to this thing, and this is why Cheech and Chong has been known for 50 years. You know what I mean? And people still love these guys. 50 years later, they knew they are. You know what I mean? There's a duality to it, and it's all good. There's no bad. There's
it all.
Yeah, exactly. That's such a serious torch.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I'm going to talk right now. Hopefully you can hear me because I tell everybody in the Discord when this thing's going, I can't hear a fucking word you're saying. It's like louder than the loudest static TV in my fucking ear. I can't hear shit.
Do you like your dabs hot?
It heats it right up, man. I do dabs with people on Instagram Lives a lot. Dabbing Granny. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah.
I've gone on her live a couple times and done dabs, and she's like fucking sitting there like shh, and I'm like shh, and she's still like, dude, how are you fucking already done your dab already? I'm like,
because this torch gets it
right here. Welder's torch.
Gentlemen, it is 2:15. We are over time.
What a day.
I'm so thankful. I would love to have you back anytime. You're always welcome.
It was fun, man. Thanks
I'm gonna do some commercials, and I'm gonna end with a song of yours. It's Snuffleupagus, because I love that one. And I can't thank you enough for being here. You are amazing, and I'll see you in the back when we're hanging out on the Discord. Everybody should join the Discord. It's the Sticky Tribe. What's it called?
Sticky Tribe, and I'll see you this weekend. All the WTAC folks. It's gonna be crazy, wild fun.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I am so excited.
DoktorHigh, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Absolutely,
great conversation.
Man, my pleasure.
Let's do it again.
Yes, sir. We will. Y'all be groovy.
You too.
All right. Everybody have a great day. Thank you so very much, Muck. Thank you again. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. I can't wait to see you this weekend, man. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. Have fun with that. That'll be awesome.
Peace.
Peace.